What's going on, everyone? Welcome to this video. So the other day, someone actually asked me, I'm not sure if it was on Twitter or on here, but someone said, hey, you should do a video on like why your top 5 favorite Scooby-Doo movies are your top 5 favorites. So I was like, another chance to talk about Scooby? Heck yes! So that is what I'm going to do. So my top 5 favorite Scooby-Doo movies, if you did not know, is Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed, Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders, Scooby-Doo and the Legend of the Vampire, Scoob, and Scooby-Doo and the Curse of the 13th Ghost. So, we're going to start, obviously, with Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed. So, I don't only have one copy of this movie. I don't only have 2 copies of this movie. I don't only have 3 copies of this movie. I don't only have 4 copies of this movie. The 5th one I can't show you. So I actually have 5 copies of this movie. The original VHS copy is the original copy I got. This is my OG. Then I got a used copy of Scooby-Doo 2 on DVD, and it actually came with 2 copies of the DVD, one widescreen and one full screen. And then I got the double pack with Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed on Blu-ray. And then I also have the digital copy. That's the one I can't really show you. So I think it's safe to say I love this movie. I do. It is just my favorite movie of all time. Not even just of Scooby-Doo, just of all time. I know, crazy? Probably. Meh. Now, why do I like this movie so much? As far as the movie goes, I love the story, I love the feel of it. Probably a big part of it is nostalgia, but I mean, part of it's also nostalgia just of Scooby-Doo, because it brings back so many different tropes and villains and stories and all this into this movie. And it just feels more classic Scooby-Doo to me. And I love seeing it in a live action form. I love seeing some of these classic villains brought to life on the big screen. And, you know, it's just overall for me like a comfort movie, more or less. Now, this is the first and only Scooby-Doo movie I've seen in theaters. I saw it back in 2004 when it was released in theaters. I was lucky enough to go see it. And that kind of leads into my next reason why I really love this movie. Now, this isn't something I talk about a lot on my channel. It's more personal part of my life, and I don't share a lot of it. But if you guys didn't know, I have a brother and 2 sisters. I'm the youngest of my family. And then I have both my sisters are between my brother and I, so my brother and I pretty much sandwich my sisters. But my brother actually has gotten into some unfortunate choices throughout his life and has unfortunately kind of distanced our relationship, and so him and I aren't super close, and you know, that's just something that is kind of a fact in my life, something that I've just kind of accepted, more or less. And so I don't have a whole lot of memories with my brother, but one very close memory I do have is I wanted to go see this movie so bad in theaters. And one night, my brother surprised my siblings and I and his girlfriend at the time tickets to go see it. And so he surprised me. He said, hey, we're going. I got everyone tickets. We're all going. Let's go see this movie. You want to see it so badly. And so yeah, he took me to go see Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. And that is a big reason it is my favorite movie, because it is one of the closest memories I have with him. So this movie is a reminder that there can be good and memorable times with my brother still. Okay, next. Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders. I have 2 copies of this movie. One VHS. I don't know why I didn't get it. And then the DVD. This is my favorite cartoon Scooby-Doo movie. It is my favorite Scooby-Doo movie of the original 4, and that's Zombie Island, Witches, Ghosts, Alien Invaders, Cyber Chase. I just love the atmosphere of this movie. I live in the desert. Where I live, it is a desert, and so I live where this movie takes place, really. And I love, honestly, aliens really intrigue me. They really do. And so, like, I don't know, just the whole alien-esque thing was interesting to me. But honestly, I love this movie for the plot twist that the villains or the criminals weren't the real aliens, and that the plot twist was that these girls that we meet, well, this girl and her dog, throughout this movie are actually the real aliens, end up being the real aliens. And I honestly just find that such an interesting plot twist, such an interesting story, and it really makes an interesting story for Scooby and Shaggy in this movie. Now, while I still do feel like this movie kind of goes more into a like Scooby and Shaggy shenanigans story, I feel like this one was well balanced. You know, we kind of gave the rest of the gang, so Fred, Daphne, and Velma, the mystery, while Shaggy and Scooby had their own mystery. We just didn't know it, honestly, until the end of the movie. And so I love this movie. I do. And I have a funny story about the VHS with this movie. When I got my original VHS copy, I actually got it for one of my birthdays. Now, I would always visit my grandma over the summer. We'd spend a good week or so over at my grandma's, me and my sister and I. And one of those times I was visiting, we had to go shopping. My grandma lives kind of far away from like a modern grocery store, so she has to drive a little ways to even get to the closest Walmart. So we went with her on her trip, you know, to stock up and whatever. And so, you know, my sister and I kind of went and did our own thing while we were at the store. My grandma kind of finished her shopping, blah, blah, blah. And once we met back up, I kind of caught a glance in the cart and saw that my grandma got Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders on VHS, but she was saving it for my birthday, which is in September. And so I remember, like, you know, okay, like, I can't say anything, I can't, you know, act like I know. And I told my sister, I was like, I saw it in the car, and she's like, don't say anything, you know, like, just don't, you know, act surprised when you see it, like, don't ruin the surprise for grandma and whatever. So then on my actual birthday, you know, I knew what I was getting, but I was like, oh my gosh, like, ah. I doubt she would remember at this point that happened, you know, because I never told her. But, like, I don't think it matters at this point either. Okay, so for my next favorite Scooby-Doo movie, it is Scooby-Doo and the Legend of the Vampire. So, again, honestly, it's just like the feel of these movies. Okay, so if you guys didn't know, I just dream of going to Australia one day. I want to go to Australia one day. I love Australia. I just love Australians. If you are from Australia, if you are Australian and watching my videos, we are automatically best friends. Like, please, I need an Australian best friend right now. I do. Like, please. I would move there. I really would. I just want to go there so bad. Anyways, so this movie takes place in Australia. Now, I know it is not necessarily super accurate, but it at least gives us Americans and everyone else somewhat-ish of a feel of Australia. Now, I just love that this movie kind of went back to, you know, a little more classic Scooby-Doo. They gave them the original outfits, you know, the classic Scooby-Doo, Where Are You outfits. We even got some of the original voice actresses of Daphne and Velma. You know, it was honestly like the original gang back together. You know, it was just like, wow, this is almost like a reunion movie before everyone kind of said sayonara or peace out, or I don't know what Australians say to say goodbye. I'm sorry. And I just love the fact that this vampire, or all the vampires really, weren't your typical Dracula. You know, we had this giant Yowie Yahoo vampire, you know, and he wasn't really like sucking blood, you know, he was just like kidnapping these people. And, you know, it was just a very, very unique take on a classic movie monster, and I just thought it was really cool. Now, this is also the start of the, like, what's new Scooby-Doo animation for the movies. Now, yes, it did go very, like, more simplified compared to, like, Alien Invader, Zombie Island, Witch's Ghost, Cyber Chase. But, you know, again, I just felt like it fit for what they did, you know, getting the original cast all together, going more classic Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? You know, so I just felt like, you know, it kind of fit, you know, going more flat, I guess you could say, animation, but I just love this movie. I do. So number 4 on my list, I obviously at this moment of recording don't have a tangible copy of, but it is Scoob, which just released about a week and a half ago from recording this. If you haven't watched any of my reviews for that movie, then go check those out. But shortened why I like that movie and why it made it into my top 5, actually knocked down Scooby-Doo Music of the Vampire out of my top 5. It's just because it's like a love letter to Hanna-Barbera, you know, in general. Hanna-Barbera, Scooby-Doo. And it's the first time it's being 3D animated, you know, for Scooby-Doo. And it just feels so good, and having the classic sound effects within the movie and just bringing back all these classic Hanna-Barbera characters and reinventing them, and it was so fun, so like, it just felt so good, and it made me cry. It was just a great movie. I just loved it. Again, go watch my reviews for a more in-depth reason on why I like Scoob. And finally, my number 5 is Scooby-Doo and the Curse of the 13th Ghost. Now you're probably saying, are you kidding me right now? No, I am not. I love this movie. I don't care what anybody says. I love this movie. Why do I love this movie? Well, let me tell you. We finally got somewhat of a closure to this story that never had closure for 30 plus years. While yes, some people would say that it didn't technically close out the story, we never actually got the closure that we needed, I feel like it did. It gave us a different closure than what we were expecting, and that's what I like about this movie. This movie had a plot twist that a lot of people didn't want, but one that I really appreciated because it was one that we didn't expect, and this movie just leaves you thinking and thinking. That's what I love about this movie, is that you watch it, and at the end, at least for me, it just leaves me thinking and coming up with these theories and thoughts and everything. Plus, we got the return of Vincent Van Gogh and Flim Flam, the Chest of Demons and everything, and it was just so cool seeing it all come back in modern animation and finally closing this storyline. I love the feel of this movie. I love the soundtrack to this movie, you know, the score of the film. It was just so fun to see Daphne, Shaggy, and Scooby back together with Vincent Van Gogh, but then also have Fred and Velma kind of like trying to catch up in the story of what had happened, because they weren't in the original 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo series. And I really felt like it did feel like the original 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo series. You know, again, just kind of bigger adventure because it's a movie this time rather than just a 20-minute episode. But now we have to wrap up all those episodes, you know, to conclude it and everything. Plus, we got some history on Vincent Van Gogh. We got some more history on the Chest of Demons, and I really appreciate that they took the time to give us a little more history on, you know, both those subjects. Plus, we got to see Flim Flam again, like I said, and he is older, and we kind of see what he's doing with his life now. I honestly now really want him to come back and maybe get like history background on him now that could help us see why he's alone and like always on the run. I would enjoy that. That's beside the point. So yeah, I just love this movie because of the plot twist, and it made you think at the end of the movie. Again, just for me, it made me, every time I watch this movie, I'm always just like, oh my gosh, like, well, this could be this, and that could be that, and that could connect to here, and that could go, oh my goodness. It's a movie that makes you think, and I just feel like if a movie makes you do that, then that's how you know it's good. At least, hopefully, that's what it means. So anyways, guys, those are my top 5 favorite Scooby-Doo movies. And hopefully now you know why they are my top 5 favorite Scooby-Doo movies. So I would like to know your top 5 down in the comments below. Tell me your top 5 favorite Scooby-Doo movies. And if you want to say why they're your top 5, then please do so. I'm sure a lot of people are just shocked by my choices and that Zombie Island isn't in my top 5. I will say while I do really enjoy Zombie Island, I do just feel like it's, at least more so in recent years, it's gotten a bit overrated and overloved, and I feel like not a lot of active Scooby-Doo fans, that's kind of like the only Scooby movie, more or less, that they've seen, and so they say it's their favorite, which, nothing against that. I can see why it's your favorite. I just personally don't feel like it's one of my all-time favorite Scooby-Doo movies. Maybe in my top 10, but I don't know. I'd have to go more down the list. So guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed and you maybe learned something about me, maybe learned something about my love for Scooby-Doo. I don't know. Let me know. So guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you in my next one. Goodbye!